This is going to be about Mikva, the laws of Nidda, Tumah V'Tara. I'm going to explain the source of it, Tumah V'Tara. I was requested by Lubavitcher, young man, a chayal in the army, chashiv with a beard, and he's very big Kiddush Lubavitch. He said that mulch and the giving the underwears to the Rav to look at is something that bothered him, and he didn't know the source of it. So I'm about to blow your minds with the source of it. The source is from Tumah V'Tara. The fact that a woman had to wash herself if she could go into the mikdash, or if a woman bleeds, it's a type of dirty. What type of dirty? I have to make a key point here, because a lot of New Age Hasidic type of people try to explain that the type of dirty doesn't mean that. It means cleaning. It means renewal. It's a type of dirty that we know from all priestly classes and all religions in that time. Is if you have ketchup on your tie. Ketchup is something that you put in your mouth. It's not dirty, but if it's on your tie is dirty, it's inappropriate, right? It's inappropriate. That's what makes it considered unclean. For example, if you would drink water from the tap, but if I gave you water from the toilet faucet, you wouldn't drink it because of the inappropriate. And it's a way of that's the way they felt about women, and that affected women socially. That's why one poet said that the Bible, activist said that the Bible and the church has been the greatest stumbling block for women's emancipation ever, from all the stumbling blocks that there are. Many societies did not put women second class because they did not consider the blood to be unclean or unfit to not come in. So, these are laws of Tumah V'Tara. Tumah V'Tara is anyways not noig bizman hazeh. It's not noig b'chutzlar. These are laws that are based on the Beis HaMikdash, based on kohanim, based on such and so on and so forth. Dinei harchaka, and these things are mixed. They're not directly the laws. Shlomo HaMelech did not check the women if they went to Mikva or not, right? It was a different, and all this is based in an ancient society, and if you go far back enough, all these are Canaanite stuff. So literally it's borrowed from the Canaanites. The Torah doesn't claim that the whole story of Yetzias Mitzrayim is historic. It doesn't even try to name a pharaoh who enslaved the Jews. It doesn't even try to give dates to make it historic and which it's just it's not even try. It's a lesson. It's a lesson. It's not meant to be history or science. So this is how you understand it, by having a relationship with the text. So these practices that the Rambam says was anyway pagan. It was based on Avodah Zarah, like animal sacrifices and so on and so forth. Priests, kohanim, those are pagan concepts. Yisrei was a kohen. These are kohanim is a goyish thing. Hate to break it to you, but better know now than later. Rabbis is a new thing. It's a new religion based on the Torah. So someone asked a Rav in Crown Heights, a couple, a younger man, said he wanted a tikkun because he hasn't been keeping Taharat Hamishpacha for a certain amount of years. And the Rav, I won't say his name, he was a Talmud Chacham. He was first of all educated, second of all a rabbi. That's how it would be great in all religions if it was like that, right? If a guy was educated, then he wouldn't take the Quran literally, and he wouldn't be so violent and so on for the Christians. If they understood that not everybody goes to hell if they don't accept Jesus, they wouldn't be burning people on the stake for heresy. So the Rav said a tikkun. The Eibishter is not he's not trying to fix, and he doesn't fix and broken. The neshama doesn't break. It's not breakable, and your body is going to die one day. What do you want to know? So he goes, nefesh, ruach, neshama, there's different levels. He said, when you figure it out, we'll do the tikkun. And the Rebbe said the same thing about Zgulis. The Rebbe said that we don't deal with Zgulis because nobody knows the order and the nature of the neshama. These were social orders, the Indian of, and also the reason why people take the concept of cleanliness, right? So these are social orders. So the reason why people take it seriously is because it's related to Kaddish. Kaddish meant he kicked you out of the land. They didn't have a concept of an afterlife until Greek philosophy and those concepts of souls came into Judaism. So the Jews didn't know about these concepts. So the Kaddish meant you're kicked out of the land where the area. So very important here. So the blood in Buddhism and Shinto, talking about the history of Japan, the Shintos didn't have this concept of a woman being second class, and they didn't have this concept, of course, it's all rooted in religion, of the woman being dirty with the blood. But Buddhism did. Buddhism came later. So if you go further back, you see women had power. They were managing. They owned property. They chose their lover. They were not moved around like in the Torah, where you move around. You don't even hear the woman's voice. There's no law even against women being lovers, because women never had a choice. The men owned them. So you're going to tell a woman not to be a lesbian? What choice does she have? She's going to be pregnant in a month or two. So that's why it's set that way. No one has a relation in yeshiva. We were speaking last time about education. In yeshiva, you don't have a relationship with the text, with the ksav, with the sfarim when you read it, and that's why it's not that you make a mistake. It's that you never understood it. It's not a mistake. You never understood it. So Kaddish turned into a spiritual thing about the soul. Again, the soul from Greek philosophy. These myths, that's not science, it's just philosophy about a soul surviving the body. So, Kaddish got kicked out of the land, and there were lots of, these were cults, these were ethnic. Judaism was an ethnic religion based on a place, based on Mikdash. Today, you get kicked out of Israel, you could go to California, you could go to New York. There's more Jews in some cities, So you could be a Jew if you're not in the land. Let's say you don't have access, like when it was dangerous, right, to live in Jerusalem, or there was no difficult to make a livelihood. People would live on donations. So the Jews could live, the religion moved, it became spiritual. It used to be based on kohanim, based on a location, and based on a certain practice. It was based on karbanos. Today we cry out to God, and like anyone does, oh my God, and that's prayer. But that never was the case. Tefillah was never without animals and without a priest. You needed a special priest that manages the religion. He's in charge of the God. So there's also chastity laws. Someone gave me yesterday a video of Rabbi Manis Friedman. He asked me if it's scientifically accurate. He spoke about some claims that he made that I think is based on no data whatsoever. And I'll explain to you how you can find data. Data, in other words, evidence, is based, that's how science works, not an anecdote. So he gave an anecdote in the class, Rabbi Manis Friedman, about a couple that they were very vulgar in their speaking. Sex is never meant to be clean. There are monks who are asexual and they live in temples and they're celibate. But that doesn't always work, as you see with the Catholic Church scandal. So sometimes you have to rethink the whole nature of it. Does it work or does it not work? And are you putting others in danger? So it's a societal norm maybe to ask people to be clean, to behave tznuim b'tashmish. There's a lot of mefarshim that would lean towards that and say that the way they walked, even the animals were in the Teva, the story of Noach. These are all just, they expound upon the stories, like the Medrash expounds on the Bible, but it really has its own modern agenda at the time, meaning they talk about alcohol, dangers of alcoholism, based on a pasuk about not drinking in the mikdash. But these are laws of priests. It doesn't mean that Judaism is against drinking alcohol, even though you could say so. Reb Nachman Breslev was very against alcohol. He was also paranoid about sex. So he was very clean, but this was his nature. So his nature was to be paranoid about women. And he said, Kilu takfoy shed, meaning as if a demon was jumping on him. So he said that's how much fright he had during cohabitation, and he would probably never make love. He would just do it for the mitzvah. That's not healthy, and that's not correct. And that's not natural. The same with food. Reb Nachman didn't eat food. These are mystics that have already been having high levels of stress in their life, and their life ended very short based on their natural condition. So another thing that Nachman said, he played on a pasuk, Ar Sheichev in Behema. So he said, cursed is the bestiality, cursed is one who sleeps with an animal. So he played on it like a Chassidish pshat, and it was very, they would do that all the time, the Chazal. Wow, that's so cute. And he said, and they would, he said, Ar Sheichev Kibehema. Cursed is one who sleeps like an animal, meaning if you do it like an animal, meaning natural. So how are you supposed to have sex like an angel? How do angels make love? These were just loose pshetlach, and of course it came from his natural tendency. This is the way he was. Either he was super shy or whatever the condition is, science can explain that to you. Then goes, so he was speaking about chastity. Now the laws of Nidda have nothing to do whatsoever with chastity and the God that cares how you behave naked in your room. This is the Judeo-Christian God. The Christians have introduced this, that God wants you to be clean because He's clean, perfect because He's perfect. All this was based on philosophy. None of it's in the Bible. Thomas Aquinas and they had all this God's testing you, tempting. He had this miracle that his balls turned into an apple or something like that when his father put a girl in there because he didn't want him to be a monk, because he put him through the school in Italy, in Firenze, some high college of Thomas Aquinas. Beautiful story. So we had some magical occurrence with when he put a harlot in the bed in this tower that he locked up his son in, trying to fight that he shouldn't become a monk, and he wanted to be a monk. He got a calling from God or something inside his head. So chastity mixed with Dinei Tara is absolutely easy to trace these things. And remember, always ask your teachers, where did you get the information? Based on what are you saying this? Because a lot of times they mix up this New Age philosophy when they're already mistaken. So they make mistakes based on mistakes. So it's very easy to ask, and it's very easy to find teachers that actually know where the source is. It's not like everybody that's religious does it out of faith and not out of education. A lot of people are Talmidei Chachamim, and you can ask them, and they will be able to tell you that they do not know, but they know that this is something that needs to be researched. You could ask Dr. Trappler. Not only is he one of the Rebbe's doctors, but he's the one that chose the doctors for the Rebbe. Very chashav, orthodox, frum doctor, Mishachist in Crown Heights. Ask him what he found based on data about the repression of sex. This is another thing Rabbi Manis Friedman touched upon. The repression of sexual urges. He says we don't need sex. Not only is it needed, and it's natural, and it's important and healthy, but the repression is dangerous. So remember, it's mamish both ways. The repression is dangerous. What happens is, as I just recently overlooked a story about a boy and a girl. And this boy's from a frum family, has a nice beard, and he went out with this girl who's a half Jew, and then he had fun, and then he told her that I'm a kohen, so I can't get married. And she had no idea. She wanted to be, part of this imagination. It looks like a family. People think that religion offers you some type of warmth, comfort, friendship, whatever it is. None of it exists. It's just you get to say a good Shabbos to a bunch of people that you're never going to really know. So it's a joke. Learn to have one or two real friends and live a beautiful life, and then you can have the millions will come. When you throw a kiddush, they'll come. But don't have these acquaintances that don't really know you, and then you live your life based on impressing them, and they're confused themselves. This is what happens a lot of times. That's why people have this beard. And so the boy, very interestingly, he had this very dirty, cruel, shameful relationship when all he wanted was to have a connection. If this is the system, my question is, how many boys are like this? It's difficult to know because not everybody is proud to come forward. Anyone that's educated would be happy to say what they think and feel because it's natural. You have no personality. You're just a human being. You're just made of what you're made of. But people feel so ashamed, and they feel like they have an neshama, and and someone's watching from behind, and boogeymans, and it's very unfortunate. So I'm going to give in the link, attach a link, so you could further demystify all the history of the Nidda, the chastity system, the mental and psychological conditions of people who are afraid of sex. Sex is just as pure as food. As one singer in Texas, Lubbock, Texas, said that when I grew up, we believed that God loves you and you'll burn in hell, and sex is dirty, but save it for the one you love. These contradictions work on people because the more you confuse them, the more the more control you have. So I'm going to demystify it, that none of this stuff will be mystical to you. It'll be simple, like a piece of history, and you'll know it, you'll understand it, and then you'll be able to teach it to other people so you could bring more light into the world and in a world of darkness. Thank you for watching.